And here are 10 practical tips to escape the rat race without compromising your values. And the first tip on my list is you need to define what escape actually means to you. This is a very important step in the whole process, because if you cannot define what escape means to you, then you are going to have a really big problem and you might actually stay in the rat race longer than you need to. So I would always suggest to everyone who is looking to create a better life for themselves, for their families, to always think about the definition of what escape means. We have a bunch of grown adults walking around saying that they want, a better life for themselves, they want better circumstances, but they do not know how to define success. Most people chase someone else's dream and they end up working a 4-day work week, or they end up putting in overtime into situations that they know will not benefit them in the long run. You need to ask yourself, what do you want to chase your dreams? Do you want location freedom? Do you want complete retirement and passive income? Do you want creative control? And you need to write down a specific vision. This is so interesting because sitting down to plan is basically the entire thing. You cannot grow if you do not plan. So you need to actually ask yourself, like, what am I fighting for? This life is so short, guys, and it can all be ripped away from us. And if you want to live with no regrets, you need to sit down and ask yourself, where am I going? What is success to me? What do I want, for the rest of the time I have on earth? Where do I see myself in the next 5 years? Hell, where do I see myself in the next 5 months? I think we need to shorten the time right now. For my second tip, I would say build a bridge job, not a pipe dream. Don't quit your 9 to 5 to start from zero. Instead, you need to keep a job for stability. You need to build a side income that replaces 30% of your first salary, then 50%, then 75%, then, you can pull the trigger. And the goal with this is to escape with safety in mind, not on a prayer, not on a hope, not on, your 5 months savings. You cannot escape without a proper plan. And building a bridge job is not just the first step to your financial freedom, it is the first step to understanding how you can, create a nice little cushion for yourself before you eventually, say, what, screw it, I'm going to quit this job. I'm going to, pursue my artistic, passions. Yeah, I feel like everyone needs safety when they are planning to actually leave a job, because that is like the most crucial step in everything. The goal here, keep in mind, is to escape with safety, not on a prayer, not on hope, not on fear, not on what ifs, but to escape with actual safety net. The next tip that I have for you guys is to sell skills, not courses, unless you're legit. The sell a course trope is overdone and often predatory because, there are better options that you can actually indulge in. And the first of that would be freelance your existing skill. So you need to ask yourself, what skills do I have for the modern day world? Is it video editing? Is it writing? Is it editing? Is it coding, design? What are your current skill sets? What do you have to offer the world? What can you give the world? What can you freelance? How can you make money with your own two hands? This is so important, guys. So always ask yourselves, what do I have? What can I sell? What part of me can I sell? Because at the end of the day, you have to sell a piece of yourself, legitimately or illegitimately. So I would advise, going into yourself and searching yourself and saying, what skills do I currently have for the current job market, for the current economy, and, work your way up from there. You can also consult for your industry. People need consultations all the time. And if you have a certain skill set, if you have, certain knowledge, then you can be a consultant. You can be a physical therapy consultant. You can be a medical consultant. You can be a construction consultant. You can be an artistic consultant. It depends on your current skill set. So, what industry do you want to work in? What skills do you want to acquire? And what passions can you, credibly inform someone of or teach someone? So that should be your primary focus when consulting. Finally, you can sell digital products that actually help people. You can sell website templates, you can sell tools, you can sell workflows, you can sell, good digital products that do not have any negative side effects or have any negative connotations. Digital products actually help people, but they only help people when people are actually benefiting positively. So if you want to go into selling digital products, I would say, hey, go ahead, take that first step. But you also need to keep in mind that these digital products must help people. You can sell website templates. I know a website template on WordPress that has done $65 million, guys. That is a WordPress template. You can actually follow that, framework, because these website templates actually do pretty well. You can sell so many, you know, things online. You can sell different types of digital products, but they have to be positive. So always keep that in mind. You don't have to be a, digital product guru. You can just be useful and they'll accept you for that. They will embrace you. They will actually patronize you and make you financially free if you do it right. For my fourth tip on my list, I would say buy back your time aggressively. Now, guys, the rat race thrives on you being exhausted all the time. It depends on you not having enough time to chase your dreams or you not having enough mental energy to say, you know what, screw it. Today I'm going to write that book. Today I'm going to, paint that painting. Today I'm going to draw that drawing. Today I'm going to, you know, write that poem. Today I'm going to solve those equations. The rat race doesn't want you to have time for these things. And these things are actually the thing that will give you the financial freedom, if you understand what I'm saying. So you need to actually buy back your time because we don't have much time left. And the rat race, trust me, it eats time. That's the silent killer of it all. When you don't have time to do anything you want to do, anything you have to do, then you have to sacrifice your time and you have to sacrifice all these things that have so much to do with your personal time. And my advice is you can actually save on time by buying meal prep services, by hiring a cleaning help, by hiring virtual assistants, by using automation tools, AI tools. These things are actually things that can buy back your time. And I would say look into automation tools. Automation tools are very handy in the world we live in today. They can actually save you on a lot of time. They can buy you hours and you can use these hours to build your exits. You can calculate your hourly rates. If something costs less than that to outsource it, I would say you should do it because if you can outsource something, then it just means you are buying back your time. For the fifth tip on my list, I would say target boring income streams. You need to target boring income streams, not flashy, but they work. These businesses are, tried and true means of making money in today's economy. They do not have any aesthetic value. They are not really aesthetically pleasing to look at, but they work. You can, think of things like laundromats, vending machines, niche websites, reviews, local guides, storage units, parking spots, dividend stocks. These are competitive but boring in principle, and they can actually help you, buy back your time and they can help you make more resources along the way. And I heard that laundromats are actually quite impressive when it comes to, bringing in that extra cheddar ching for the weekend. You know, you can actually look into laundromats, owning a laundromat, owning some vending machines, owning some ATMs. It's, these businesses have been around for a long time. I would say capitalize, and capitalize while you still can. Do not let the opportunity pass you by. If you have the means to invest in these boring income streams, they will pay off handsomely. I promise. For my next tip, I would say negotiate your way to freedom without quitting. So, what am I saying is before you leave your 9 to 5 job, you should actually try to get a remote work agreement. Try to do your work in 3 days instead of 5. Try to have a 4-day compressed schedule. Try to have results based pay instead of hours. And you can also opt into job sharing. Job sharing is basically exactly what it sounds like. You share your jobs with a virtual assistant, and both of you can cover the time and buy time for each other. And this way, you can just find a partner and job share with them. Some people don't have to escape the rat race, by changing jobs. You can just change the terms of your current job. And if this is on the table for you, I would say you should take it 100%. You should always try to negotiate terms, because learning how to negotiate can actually change your life, guys. Like, most people do not see that rather than having a fixed perspective, you can always change someone else's perspective and have them see your views. You can always have people understand your views. You can, you know, always negotiate terms. Always keep in mind that things can always be negotiated. For my seventh tip on the list, I would say move to lower cost of living, even if temporarily. Now, if you're someone that doesn't want to compromise their values, you would have to actually move to lower cost of living, which means you just have to size down a little bit. Whatever your current situation is, you can try sizing down. You need less money to escape if your expenses are low, and this has to be considered. Think about it. Smaller city or rural area, you can move to a different country on a digital nomad visa. You can go into house hacking. You can rent out some rooms. You can rent out some Airbnbs, and every little $500 in your pocket doesn't hurt, because you have now cut down your living expenses and more money can go into your freedom. Now, this takes an immense amount of discipline. And I know that discipline is not the strong suit of so many people in today's world. So, if you want to skip this step, it's totally fine. But I wouldn't. I'm actually considering moving to a lower cost city myself. And I suggest that people should actually look into this as well. I want to move to a place where, my money can really work for me. And you know, that's all I've ever wanted. I always wanted my money to work for me. I don't want to work and not see the cost of living actually reflected in my personal life. So this step to me is actually quite crucial if you want to see yourself escape the rat race in 2026. For the eighth tip on my list, I would say ignore the hustle corn. You need three income streams by Friday. No, you don't. What sustainable escape looks like is you need to work 40 to 50 hours total, your job plus your high side hustle included. You need 2 rest days per week, and there is no shame in slow progress. Guys, slow progress is so important because it protects the mental health from burnout. It protects us from, you know, unforeseen dangers, mental dangers. So, it's just like YouTube. Like, I've been trying to grow this channel for a while, but progress is quite slow. At the same time, I know that there's no shame in slow progress because, every big YouTuber once started out like me. And I also do not want to get burnt out by trying to compete with these bigger YouTubers, which, that have more reach than me. It's just so bad for my mental. So I would rather take things slow. And you guys can actually implement this into your lives. You can choose to take things slowly. You don't have to rush the process. You don't have to rush greatness. Great things are going to happen for you regardless. However, you need to ignore the hustle culture. Hustle culture is totally, how do I say, it's totally wrong in the way how it skews the perception of, people into thinking, oh, if you just hustle, hustle, hustle like a mad dog, you are going to get to your goal. That is furthest from the truth, guys. That is the furthest thing from the truth. If you hustle too much and you buy into hustle culture, You are going to end up competing with people. You are going to end up being in toxic cycles of working so hard that you get burnt out. And this is why I say slow progress is the best way to go. Take things slow and, you know, your efforts will matter. My next tip is to create one asset, not 10 experiments. Most people fail because they chase five ideas at once. Pick one and, go all out. You need to pick one hustle, whether it be a YouTube channel, an online store, a freelance service, an app, or a website. Pick one thing and excel at it. Become a master of that thing. Don't be a master of so many things and, you know, at the same time, a master of none. You need to be an expert at one thing. You need to go all in until it generates consistent cash, and then you can diversify. For the next and final tip on my list, you need to redefine soul selling. Redefine what soul selling looks like to you. Working a boring job isn't selling your soul, neither is charging fair prices. Actual soul selling looks like lying to customers, promoting harmful products, scamming desperate people, working for truly evil companies slash people or organizations, using ritualistic means to get to your goals or to accomplish your goals, and doing things that you would normally not do on normal circumstances. Other than that, everything else is fair game. Charging fair prices is fair game. You know, charging a fair price for your business, for yourself, for how you need to survive is actually fair game. But don't let the purists guilt you out of legitimate income. The only legitimate things to do, are things that can actually promote negativity. And as long as you're not doing that, guys, you are not selling out. So I would say, the bottom line, you need to escape slowly, escape ethically, escape boringly. Do not escape fast. If not, you will crash and burn. And I do mean that wholeheartedly. You need to escape the rat race slowly as possible. People who succeed aren't the flashy gurus. They're the ones who quietly built a useful skill. They saved their money aggressively and left when the math worked, without becoming someone that they hate or someone that they can't look in the mirror. So guys, basically what I'm saying, if you want to look at yourself in the mirror at the end of the day and see a decent human being staring back, you need to escape ethically. You need to also build a product that will promote positivity and will help people achieve their goals, not something that will rip them off or cause them harm. Guys, I hope and I pray that you succeed in everything that you do. Please give this video a like and a thumbs up if you actually gained something and if you enjoyed the ride. Guys, my name is Samba. I will see you guys on the next one. I hope you tune in. Stay blessed, stay loved. Peace, one love.